Being the classic music man that I am, I really had to address this very interesting, opinionated thing going on with the Fallout 76 trailer. This actually involves the John Denver song, Take Me Home, Country Road. Everybody knows that song. It's one of the greatest folk songs ever written. And I am speaking about this today because there is a little, and I mean a very little bit of controversy surrounding this song because it is quite new compared to what we've heard in Fallout in the past. Now, let's be honest, most of what we hear in Fallout is music featured in the Cold War era and even the pre-Cold War era. So we're speaking of here late 1930s on through the 40s, on through the 50s, and even through the 60s. This John Denver song is actually from the early 70s. And you could honestly hear a little bit of difference, a little bit of a rift of what we're used to hearing in a Fallout game. You know, we love listening to the Ink Spots, Billie Holiday, Roy Brown, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, all of those greats from the past. And this is quite a different taste of music than what we've heard in the previous Fallout games. But is that entirely true? You have to understand, running this A-Bomb radio app for more than 5 years now, I've gotten around and I've learned so much about these artists, about this music. This is something that I've really studied, you can say, because I've added more than 1,000 different songs, many of them artists that I'm being introduced to. Most of them artists I already know, like Ella Fitzgerald and the ones I mentioned before. You know, there's special kinds of orchestras, there's Kay Kaiser, Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller, all of those types of songs, popular artists from those times are featured in my app. And the only reason really, and I have to thank Fallout, Bethesda, Interplay, Black Isle, everybody who put this series together and the fine music that comes with it, because playing games like Fallout, BioShock, LA Noire, the Mafia series, I was introduced to this type of music through these games, and it opened up this whole world for me. And so this is something that I wanted to address because, believe it or not, this John Denver song is far, and I mean far, from the quote-unquote newest song we've heard in Fallout. In fact, do you want to know one of the newer songs in Fallout that you're probably familiar with? Do you remember the Mojave music station from Fallout New Vegas? Remember that? You know, you have Radio New Vegas and you have Mojave Music, and of course you have the Mysterious Broadcast, which are the three main stations in Fallout New Vegas. If you can believe this, the country songs that we hear in the Mojave music station actually come from the late 90s. Yes, the late 90s. There are late 90s songs in Fallout. So when you think of this John Denver song, Take Me Home, Country Road, which was a 70s song, then that makes this not so new. I won't lie. The country songs we hear on the Mojave music station aren't exactly in our face. In fact, the volume on them is rather quiet, and I don't know why, but they are less notable songs to notice in the Fallout series because, of course, we are used to the Ink Spots and other famous artists from back in the 40s and 50s. This is quite an interesting topic for me because I've been running A-Bomb Radio for quite a while now, and it doesn't take too much research to check the years of these songs. And yes, I'm not going to sit here and say there isn't really a main criteria of Fallout music that we're used to. Of course, we are used to a certain era, but you gotta remember that Fallout does take place 200 years after 2077 mainly, so so that's past our time, that's past our grandchildren's time. We have a lot of music to work with here, but yes, Fallout does take place in this retro 1950s futuristic type of future. Fallout is the pre-war Fallout is the world that our grandparents imagined the future would be like. They never really considered the change in style, but they did consider the change in technology. So you have robot butlers, atomic powered cars, you have these buildings that look like they're from the moon. I mean, that is what our forefathers, I guess you could say, thought the future would look like. And that is what Fallout plays on. And of course, the nuke drops. It still has that Cold War feel about it, that I'm sure we can all understand. But again, you have to remember, when we think about the future, we're not exactly going to be totally stuck in the 40s and 50s era. It is my preferred genre of music, but when we think of this Take Me Home Country Road song, you really have to consider all of the other songs, and I mean all of the other songs we've heard in Fallout in the past. In the end, I think it just boils down to the genre and less of the year. So when we have a folk song like John Denver sings, it's really not breaking the Fallout lore, it's not breaking the Fallout genre, because we're so used to hearing a main genre, I guess you could say, as opposed to others. But when you think about it, as long as they're not playing disco, okay, guys, as long as they're not playing disco, we're gonna be okay. Anyway, country, big band, blues, swing, stuff like that, that fits the Fallout mold. If they were playing disco or 80s music or something like that, it would be a different story. But in this case, they are keeping it grounded with the whole Wasteland appeal. This is going to be a pretty great game, you guys, and I cannot wait until E3. We are only 4 days away, and I will do my best to divert myself from any of the speculation. Again, until the fat lady sings, we don't know anything yet, and in the end, it's a Fallout game. I'm still gonna buy it. So if you ask me, I could take a breather from all of the quote-unquote confirmed allegations, and I am more than excited to hear what we have in store for the Fallout 76 radio playlist. I will definitely be adding it to A-Bomb Radio, and if you are still confused about this A-Bomb Radio, it is literally an app I made revolving around the music we hear in Fallout, BioShock, and other games. Literally has thousands of songs playing 24/7. I have all of my radio shows there where you can listen on demand anywhere you want to. Please check out abombradio.com. It will be in the description. I will see you guys next time, and prepare for the future.